Yeah. Yeah. I know they mad for no reason. I'm holding on to change my life. Gotta move fast for a reason. I'm holding on to change my life. Huddling, I'm staring at charts until I retire. Yeah. Huddling, I'm staring at charts until I retire. Oh, 700K, I'm selling a Bitcoin. Haters mad, but they listen to this one. More profit coming to my direction. Yeah, you know me, I don't need a mention. I got the remedy, ooh, yeah. They don't just follow me, ooh, yeah. You say allegedly, ooh, yeah. You would subscribe to me, ooh, yeah. Staring at chart, drawing a line. Make a decision, you out of time. Huddling, huddling, huddling. I'm staring at charts until I retire. Yeah. Huddling, huddling. I'm staring at charts until I retire. Yeah. See what I'm saying? OnChain Revolution. Guns. Boom.
Welcome back to OnChain Revolution. My name is Shizzy. On this channel, we cover the entire crypto ecosystem. What is up, guys? We have an amazing show for you guys today. We're live from the OnChain Hour, and we have Bitcoin sitting at 103,744. Ethereum, what a nice bounce back today. Back to 3,400. Tau back over 400, which is always amazing. Merle sitting, right where it was yesterday, which is kind of crazy. Everything else dumped. Merle stayed strong. Shout out to the Maryland team there. XRP sitting at $2.27. You got the Hype token just over 42. Hype token's been very strong. Aster is strong today for the first time in a couple of days, back over $1, sitting at 107. You have Wilfi, 11 cents. Crazy. I remember, I think it was Crypto Bacon was talking about he was buying this at 30, 40 cents. Insane. Wilfi, really one of the tokens getting hit hard right now. Dog back to 0.0015, 150 million, and Solana sitting at $160. So we are bouncing back from yesterday's lows. Yesterday felt like a day where everything wanted to kind of fill the gap. And when I mean fill the gap, I'm talking about the October 10th market manipulation dump, right? We had a lot of wicks that ran down to a certain level. It seemed like yesterday a lot of the crypto coins actually went down and filled that gap. Today feels like a bounce back. Today feels like actual momentum back in the markets. I've always said I'd rather dump than go sideways. Going sideways for 2-3 weeks is never fun. It's actually miserable. A day like to yesterday when Bitcoin dumped from, let's just say, 107 all the way down to 98,000, it felt like a relief to me. It felt like, all right, now we can go higher. All the leverage longs are out of the market. Now we can go higher. And when we hit 98, it was like, well, who's dumb enough to short now? It was almost obvious at that point when we hit 98,000 yesterday that we were going to pop back up, and just like we did now. The question is, do we sustain this mini pump that we're in? I think so. I think the bottom is in. I think the bottom is in at 98K. I think, a lot of people had that, that's like psychological number at 100K. People are like hitting me up saying, yo, like I thought 100K puts a hold. You can't worry about the psychological numbers. Like 98 is basically 100K. When someone says 100K needs to hold, I think 98 is fine as long as we don't close under 100K. I think that's one thing people don't understand. Closing under that would have been bad, but I think we closed above 100 yesterday, which is good. So we're still technically in that gap. But I do think we are going to see a bounce back. I do think we end up getting back to 109 by the end of the week. And then next week, I think it's going to be a bullish week. I think, with government shutdown potentially ending, we're hearing rumors of that. We have the elections now behind us. That was a big hurdle in front of us. Markets like certainty. Everything's getting kind of certain now, especially when, we do open the markets. We get some of the, CPI data again. We can kind of assume the Fed will be cutting rates in December. And we all know that, what's going to happen next year once a Fed is gone. So, I say Fed is gone. I mean, replaced by Trump, but technically Trump's going to be controlling the Fed full control. So we will see what happens with that. But I'm definitely bullish on next year. I'm definitely bullish on the next couple months as well. I think November has a chance to turn green here very quickly in the next couple weeks. I'm excited. Today we're going to be covering ICM. If you don't know what that is, that's Internet Capital Markets. It's one of the biggest right now, sectors people are really talking about, and right now Solana is the biggest. So we're going to dig into exactly what that is and kind of go over that. So definitely stay tuned for that. Without further ado, we bring in my partner here as always, Mr. Iago B. What's up, buddy?
What's up? What's up? What's up?
What's up, man? How you doing today? Did you survive the crash of November 2025?
Yeah, survived it, but there was definitely long moments, periods of time of just deep thought, right?
Yeah.
Looking at my phone or just just trying to get a grasp of what's happening right now, and that's been the hardest thing this entire year, right? Is getting a good feeling of where the markets are heading and stuff. But after that, I said, hey, look, I mean, nothing we can do about the past. Let's see what's going to happen here for the next month and a half, right? Or we've got a month and 3 weeks to finish the year out. I'm not expecting some sort of glory like rally at this point. Like right now, I think this is just kind of like a recovery from yesterday until we get like consistent, like, Jeff had said on the show, you need probably about a week to 2 weeks of being at a strong level consistently to show that we have officially gone into an uptrend. And so that's what I'm waiting for.
Yeah, I agree. We do have one problem though. Problem that I see that's a glaring is the fact that the DXY double bottomed here and is now on an uptrend. It broke its local high from August, which was just above $1. So now we are above $1 or above $100 on the DXY. And this is one thing that you guys know, something I talk about all the time. We won't start an alt season until we get below this line, which is 96, right? So if we're above here, there's no chance your alts are going to run. Every single time the alts have run, we've broken that 96 number, which has always taken us into an alt season. Every time we broke this, alt season. Every time we broke this, alt season. And I'm really kind of hoping for it again. And whether we have to bring it now, I mean, it's almost like we got to bring it to next year, potentially being in the top. But I don't know. How do you feel about the DXY right now, kind of running up? And it looks like it's good to have some room to go here.
Yeah, I mean, you can look at the historical trends of every alt season that breaks below that, right? And it doesn't just break below that level; it goes down pretty decent, like amount further, right? And so we obviously haven't had our alt season, and this chart makes so much sense whenever you think about the frustration of the space. Crypto Twitter, the 4-year cycle was not strictly for Bitcoin. It was actually more for like the altcoin opportunity, right? Because a lot of things are going to go up and you have to play that correctly, and that just hasn't happened, right? And so eventually you would think that we would have to kind of see that because I mean, you're looking at that period in between right now, and that's pretty extended. That seems like a pretty decent amount of time there that we haven't had an alt season. And so when does it come, right? What's going to happen with the dollar here? There's a lot of people thinking that the first 3 weeks of this month is going to be chop with some bearish feeling, and then finish the month decent heading into December. But that's just the optimistic outlook I think a lot of people kind of want, and so until proven, I think we just got to take it day by day, and this is where we are right now, right? Dollar's going up, Bitcoin's going kind of down, right? I mean it broke below 100K. I didn't think I would see that for the rest of this year for sure. But let's see what happens. We got 3 weeks left in this month. If that does kind of, we won't really know too, by the way, if it plays out that way, because it's going to be choppy with some not great feelings. And then all of a sudden, like at the end of this month, it's supposed to get better. It's still going to be people like not, I guess, not in belief yet until that rally really does happen. It might take the first week of December for people to feel that way, which would be really weird. But hey, a month can feel like 6 months in this space.
Yeah, it really can. I'm thinking right now, I mean, it's going to take us some time The dollar doesn't just go from 100 down to 96 quickly, right? This is going to take a few months, but doesn't mean we can't like you can't have some rally from Bitcoin. So I got to remember this entire time up here, Bitcoin was going to all-time highs, right? So maybe Bitcoin goes to all-time highs. We have this thing kind of drop below here, and then February, March, and April potentially we could be heading down. And the biggest part of the alt season has always been like the big drop here. Like this is the most bullish part of the alt season. This again right here was the bullish part of the alt season. So we got to have, obviously it's going to take potentially, dude. We might go 6 months before we actually see an alt season. Would that be devastating to the entire crypto ecosystem?
Not as devastating as probably in October and even last week. I feel like we're pretty seasoned at this point. We're getting pretty callous. Like if you're here, you're probably not going anywhere. And so I think it's kind of just pushing through, and just it's almost kind of like doing a hike that's really long. You're just like getting like, oh, okay, just got to finish it. And that's where I feel like the space is right now.
Yep. All right, let's kind of get into our first topic here. The end of meme coins. ICM could change crypto forever. Influencers are about to be replaced. I did some digging to see what this was before we kind of get into your explanation on it. But the term internet capital market refers to a crypto native model of capital formation. Creators, developers, and communities issue tokens and raise capital directly from the internet. That is kind of the definition. But what would you say is a capital market from a degen point of view?
Projects stating that they have utility, you believe in them, you kind of the fundamentals of how the stock market works at the very, very basic level, right?
Yeah.
And so you're helping them fund, their progress, right? And so, by the way, this has been attempted on Solana since back when Believe, started. And I mean, obviously, utility projects have been around forever, but there hasn't been anybody that's been able to master the formula of it right now because of the culture, I think, over there. The culture is so degen into meme culture that like they don't care anymore if this company has like potential or could be huge one day. They just want the quick opportunity, instant gratification, and move on to the next, right? And so there's some whisperings that like Elon, the founder of Pump Fund, really wants to figure out this formula of how to get some solid projects through the Pump Fund system in an ICM type of project, right? And he wants to get that going. Maybe that's coming down from like a lot of the the founders of Solana and some other of the foundation saying we want more substance rather than just only meme coin volume on our chain. And that could be part of it, right? And so we'll see if they can do it. It hasn't been, like I said, no one's been able to do it before. I think Pump Fund and Elon have the ability because they have the best motion of any of the launch pads, right? So but we'll see. He has to kind of first prove that it works in Solana. And so that's the first thing. So these ICM companies, who's going to also want to do this? They're going to have to benefit pretty, I think in a very impactful way from doing this. Also, they're going to be thinking about their future. We had a founder or high level person at a legitimate B2B, Web3 project on yesterday. We recorded it, and you have to think those are the types that you really want to be a part of this, but will they want to be a part of this? That's the question, because you even I talked about it, like that mentality that we heard yesterday. It's totally different in terms of tone and what they're building and how they are passionate about stuff. So if they can do it, though, it could be huge.
Yeah, for sure. So what exactly is an ICM project then? Like, because from my understanding, like I'm kind of like listening to you, and I have so many questions about it, because it's like, would you consider, I don't know, a marketplace an ICM? Like what are some examples of an ICM project?
Okay, so there's a project called KLED, KLED AI, and it came out of the Believe environment, the Believe app environment. And so this is an example. What they do is they basically get your data, your content, if you're a content creator, and they sell it to the AI companies, and then they bring back like a share to you, right? They keep a small profit, I guess, and then they give you back what they were able to, a percentage of what they were able to sell your content for, right? And so the way that the reason why this needs to it's a need is because these AI companies need this. They need all this content to be able to generate these artificial human images and stuff by mashing all these together and doing these type of things. And so that's what CLED is an example of, right? So I would say this is probably one of the better examples from the Believe ecosystem. The guy already had done a company as a startup in Silicon Valley, and right now the CLED token is valued at $37 million market cap. So this one is a success one that came out of Believe, but I will say not a ton of them came out of Believe like this, right? But that's an example though. So it's a revenue generating business that is using Web3 to raise funds, and there's a token involved.
Okay, I gotcha. And what? Okay, so this is one of them. So basically, anything building with utility that is not decentralized finance would be considered ICM.
Yeah, I mean, another company was like he does smart AI software as a service for the medical industry. So that's
Gotcha.
something that's pretty separated from Web3, right?
Yeah.
But he used the Believe launchpad to raise funds to kind of help him along the way. I'm not sure if that one had success, but that's the idea behind it. You could do any type of business, really. Probably preferably has innovative, new, advanced, forward, thinking type of business like those two I just mentioned. But that is what ICM is in a nutshell. In a sense, the Believe token was an ICM that they created by more like people buying their token, because I think they initially launched on Pump Fund, but it got to like through 200 million, 300 million, and the team obviously had their share or whatever. I don't know what the vesting schedule was with all that stuff, but so they were able to get their market cap up, and that's how they started their whole ICM launchpad thing. Now I will say, for what was kind of promised, not necessarily promised, but like people speculated on what Believe would be, I think they've fallen short, because they haven't just been churning out amazing companies. And I don't think that's an easy thing to do, by the way, churn out amazing companies one after one. But at least they have started to try to get this meta going. And I think Elon is looking at this as a challenge and saying, hey, I think we could do better. You know what I mean? So we'll see.
Yeah, 100%. And speaking of Pump Fund, so they're trying to basically get companies to list a token, and they're trying to get you to do it on Pump Fund, right? Is there any place over here where I can separate, the meme coins like this from the ICM tokens? Do they have any type of thing yet to where I can kind of see what, like a category or anything like that over here?
So there isn't yet, I don't believe. But like that's a common knowledge that that's what they're trying to go towards. I don't know
I
if
gotcha.
maybe they need to update their platform, and once they do, they'll have that. But there's other people trying to front run the meta. For example, there's dev.fun, which I think if you work with the Pump Fund team, you can control the last characters of your address. And so like they were able to do that and have dev in the end of their address. And they, in my opinion, they haven't done a great job though, because they're doing like an ICO raise too. You can do that through them and then launch the token through Pump Fund. And it creates there was a miscalculation on the smart contracts. So it was a mess last week with one of their launches. So I think it really needs to come from the Pump Fund team that does it, and that's where it's going to have the most impact if it works. So they're obviously not rushing it out because it's not there yet, but there's just been noise about it on the timeline.
Gotcha. That makes sense. And then, so eventually they'll have an internet capital market thing. here, but like how do you go about finding the early ones? Like what are some ways to kind of figure out, hey, okay, this isn't just a meme coin, this is something here, let me go do further research?
So it's hard. It's hard
Yeah.
because there's big business. You heard Orangey talk about it on the timeline 2 days ago when he was interviewed by Thread Guy. But there's huge business in being a coin deployer right now. Like he said even himself, if he was starting from zero, he would be deploying coins, right? So there's a lot of people that are doing that, and so that's volume. That they have to push out to try to get one of their coins to go. So there's going to be a lot of LARPs. There's going to be a lot of these things. So that's why I do think once that product is ready, I'm sure that there's going to be, some guardrails for people to be able to determine, hey, is this at least like in that program? Maybe they'll make it a couple extra steps to where these deployers they're too lazy to do that because they just want to do all the volume, and so I think that would probably be ideal or something like that, right? But yesterday there was a token that launched on Pump Fun called ATM, which is a part of the ATM.day platform, which I haven't done a ton of research on. So, go do your own research on them. They are basically analytics. They try to tell you, they try to pick like out of all the coins that launch that day, maybe like 6 that have potential to go into that next level. That's their whole thing. They're going to release like a fake volume versus organic volume tool soon. And they launched a coin yesterday and said they want to kick off the ICM meta. And, I will say doing it without like that product that's ready or whatever, is interesting. They do have, I think they're lightly associated with Pump Fun in some sort of partnership way as well. I'm not, that's not an official thing. So you go research that more. But they did mention that in their stream. So they were streaming yesterday from the Pump Fun thing, right? So, but their whole customer base is meme coin traders. And the entire stream was about how they feel like the volume has really just been crushed, and there's the same basically 1,000 PvP people playing versus the deployers and et cetera, and that ICM is needed. And they were saying they are a little bit worried that like these KOLs that are making so much from the meme coin landscape will just transition to the ICM side and just pump tokens just to try to get them to go, so they can dump whatever they have and stuff like that. So, but at the end of the day, you're going to run into that regardless. You can't help that, right? So I think the biggest thing is to watch and see, does something actually come from this? Because there's been about 2 attempts previous to this and it hasn't worked out. We'll see if Pump Fun can do it.
Yeah, for sure. And then, so you have the ICM, right? You have your meme coins, and then you have creator coins. Would you consider creator coins at all like a part of the ICM, or do you think that's just more of another genre?
So I think there's probably a little area where they can overlap, but for example, like the Draper University type of situation.
That's what I was thinking.
Tim Draper, his company did a media coin, and they are constantly showing coverage or content on the Pump Fun channel that they have, stream that they have, and that coin went to like 17 to 20 million. So I think that's been the hardest sector of the 3 for Pump Fun to really crack the code on, because it's very, I mean, these people just don't want to hold. So like as soon as like their dopamine is no longer being tapped from a stream, they dump it, right? Even if the streamer is good. And so that's where I think a lot of this is running into issues with the creator coins. I feel like that, similar to the ICM meta, I feel like someone needs to get that right too, and it's hard. It's like this formula algorithm, not algorithm like in YouTube or anything, but like a formula of how it can work. And I think it's really tough because right now I think what's happening is mismatch. Like you're having good streamers with bad market audience, and then you're having bad market audience with bad market audience stays the same really for streamers, but with bad streamers. So even if you get good streamers, though, they're not having success. So if they're not having success, it's not going to kick. So someone needs to figure that out as well.
Yeah, for sure. It almost seems like it needs to go the other way. Like no coin but like instead we just do like a tipping thing, right? And then we just judge each creator by the amount of tips that they get, right? Like the bit more tips, you become number one on the platform. I just don't see a coin necessary for creators. Like, you know what I mean? It just seems like one of those things where yeah, you and the community can win, but if you dump any of your creator coins at all, I mean, it's kind of very similar to when a team dumps a lot of their tokens. It's like, do you not believe in yourself anymore? Are you selling the top? Like, it's I just you know, it's hard. For that situation, I just can't see it actually working with the coin.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough. You're right. I mean, there's so many, stigmas to it to where it's like, they probably the strong streamers, the big streamers probably don't even want to deal with that headache.
Yeah.
They're gonna be watching my wallet all the time, and so maybe the tipping thing. I feel like that's really, you have TikTok and you have YouTube already that does that. So if you just integrate, the Web3 side to those, then you solve that issue. So if it's something more of like the platform controls the token for each channel, and like they are the platform's the one that, like, does the transition from that coin into like USDC on Solana, or just something different to where they're not in control of it. I don't know what it is. It might not even ever just be a thing. It
Yeah.
might just be like something that it doesn't work. And sometimes you try to force something so much that it's like, it's not going to work.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, the best thing you can do there, honestly, is just do the tipping thing, because that's how they do already. And like I heard someone say before, like, like when I send the streamer $5 for whatever reason, whether you see my comment or something, I'm not expecting anything in return. When you buy a streamer's token, you're constantly expecting a return. Like, you know what I mean? So it's like it's like the streamer now he became, he has a job on top of keeping his channel alive to make sure that he's creating content that's good enough to pump the coin. It's just that, to me, this is one thing that doesn't, he can no longer make good content. Now he has to make shocking content, like the Bagwork boys. Anytime they got boring, right, they needed to go do something stupid to get themselves arrested. That type of stuff does not really work in the content world. You need to be able to create normal stuff as well as that shocking
Yeah,
stuff.
well, I think like the successful streamers, they never feel like they owe anything to like their, anybody really. Yeah, of
Yeah.
course, like, when they get huge, they always, are grateful for their fans and their audiences and stuff like that. But in terms of like a monetary standpoint,
Yeah.
like they don't feel like they owe anything to their audience in terms of monetary terms, right? But with a token, you have this burden of, you owe it to them to try to make your stock go up.
Exactly.
And I think that's where like the natural, organic, skillful people will have issues with having success with that, because they're like, what, like, I'm good at what I do, like, why is it not working? You know what I mean? Like, why is it, and then you start to bruise their confidence a bit, and then that could go down a road to where they're not a streamer anymore because they don't have the confidence for it, right? So there's a lot of things, I think, with that they have to try to fix or correct, and get the focus away from like, you're gonna get rich from the streamer.
Yeah. Yep. And then it becomes like shareholders. Like, the worst thing that happened to Apple in the early 90s is when they, they basically, was forced to listen to the shareholders. They went away from their original idea of making great products. So it's like, you can't make a good product anymore. You have to constantly listen to your shareholders, which now are your coin holders. This doesn't work. But I did find something interesting while doing a little bit of research. I found Dare.market. So I'm going to start this off with, nobody do any of this shit. Like, I don't want any of you guys doing any of this stuff, but it does exist. So let's kind of show it. So this is Dare.market. You can do some pretty cool stuff, or you can do some really, really bad stuff. It's up to you, but you can actually earn by doing things on this website. I saw someone eat cat food. So how it works is you come up here, you connect your wallet, you create a Dare. You can make the Dare pretty much say anything you want. You know what I mean? And then you can come here and you can, it's this one, shave a stripe in the middle of your head. So let's just say you want to earn 0.2. So the winner of this will earn 0.2. You'll come click here, you'll see 6 submissions here, and you'll kind of go down. It'll be loading the submissions. A lot of these people, for some reason, the video is not popping up on these ones, but it was popping up on other ones. But you can kind of see over here, 1 day, 12 hours, 30 minutes left. So you can commit to the Dare, and then you actually have to do it. Let me find one with the video, because there's a lot of them with the actual videos. Okay, this one's pretty funny. Scream Hyperliquid for 10 seconds in public. I would actually do this to get 3 soul. You can pay me $600.
Yeah, but how many
Hyperliquid in
submissions are
public.
there?
It says there's 4.
Okay.
But
Look,
again,
that's
the
that's
videos aren't showing.
yeah, but that's the problem. Like I'm not gonna win. You know what I mean? Like, I
Well,
guess
you have to get the most upvotes.
yeah, but like, I don't know, man. So I would never do anything on here that's like that would put me at risk of anything, like in terms of
Yeah.
legal or anything like that. Because if I got in trouble and like I was, had to pay tickets and I didn't win, I'd be so pissed.
So here's another one. It's dramatic fake proposal in public. It can be with somebody you know or a random person. He's saying he chooses the winner, so there is no upvoting on this one. So I guess there is upvoting, but I guess he's just going to choose the winner. But it's 3 soul, $222 worth of soul here. Is that no? That can't be. It's supposed to be just less than that then. Well, anyway, that's the amount, $222 committed there, and then you actually have to do it. And when you do it, you post a video. And like for instance, like this guy, he posted the video here, and then like his girlfriend tries to beat him up because it's fake. Which is kind of funny. But what do you think about this? Is this considered an internet capital market?
Well, if they launched a token and was helping them raise money, to be able to do this, yeah, it would be considered that. But if they didn't launch a token to kind of help fund it, then no, it wouldn't be considered that. But it would be considered one of those similar types of companies, right? Just wouldn't be like it didn't take the ICM route, to raise money. So yeah, obviously this, like, from a utility and market, it's a marketplace, which I actually think this could do very, very well, because one of these trends goes viral. People are gonna see a lot of this stuff on TikTok, but it started at Dare Market. You know what I mean? Obviously, the name itself is like pretty scary because it's like, where does the line get drawn here? And I just feel like this is the beginning of a Black Mirror episode, right? And so it's kind of like, hopefully nothing serious happens from that site, but they will get the attention, I believe, because someone's gonna go super viral from there.
100%. Any last words on ICM's internet capital markets before we move on?
Yeah, so I want to clear it up that I don't think memes die as a whole. I think that Solana lost a lot of meme influence though, and because of just they had the torch from 2024 to recently. So I think there's another environment that needs to kind of take that torch, and that's why I'm bullish on Spark's ecosystem. I think that they have an opportunity. It's a Bitcoin ecosystem, so there's a lot of liquidity that is potential over there, right? You have huge names that worked for Facebook and PayPal. That means that their network is huge with a lot of capital in that network. And so all they need to do is have a degen environment, and it's fresh, right? So, some of these people that have been longing to be able to hold something that can go up, it can happen there more likely than somewhere in Solana, to where they're pushing out, hundreds of thousands of coins every couple of days, right? So that's what I think. And look, that's a 2-year run to me, in my opinion, is a solid, right? Does that mean that Solana won't ever get any like big runners? No, of course not. But I don't think they'll have that same motion that they had with memes for a while, until something else new comes out there to kind of support that, other than just deployers making money, and that's pretty much it. There's not really any retail over there except for the people that are really like addicted to it. But somewhere new could definitely do that. But also, the ICM meta could be something over there, so keep your eye on it. The one thing I'll say is it's not easy. And so don't expect it to just all of a sudden have a bunch of ICM projects over there. Solana might be just a little bit sideways in terms of volume for the next maybe 6 months or something, until they find something really hot that they can dig into.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. All right. Let's move along though. So we got some economic data today. The U.S. ADP employment increased by 42,000 in October, marking the largest gain since July. So basically, this means the figure beats expectations 28,000, followed by a previous reading of negative 32,000. So basically, there is more people working right now than there was last month. So that's always a good sign for the economy. So looking at poly markets now, it did drop a little bit on that news. We were closer to 70, and now we're about 65% chance of a Fed cut in. Well, really 67% chance of a Fed cut in December. Does today's jobs number really affect how you're thinking about December's cut? I'm still thinking they're going to do a cut in December. I think it's going to be a 25 basis point cut.
No, it doesn't really change my perspective on it. I'm a little bit lost in terms of where I feel about December, if there's going to be a cut or not, because it could be one of those, little jolts of energy, once it happens, because it wasn't expected necessarily, right? But yeah, like at this point, I think it's not necessarily like a rate cut or that's going to turn around the markets. You know what I mean? I think it's going to have to be number go up and, just a lot of liquidity push up to the upside that's going to do that. And I just don't know where that's going to come from. But I do know it can come from somewhere because it always does, right? They find ways to do it. And this year has been everything that a manipulated year, in my opinion, all the characteristics of what that looks like in terms of Bitcoin and the digital asset space. So I wouldn't be shocked if like everybody's, doom and gloom, and all of a sudden we just have this freaking, runner of a week or something in December, early December. And then we go into like a Santa rally for a bit. But I also wouldn't be shocked if we're, we dump more at this point. Like there's nothing that shocks me at this point.
Yeah, I'd actually be shocked if we dumped more. I think the bottom is definitely in here. I do think that right now the rate cut is not baked in, and I do think we get one on December 10th, which is about 35 days from today. I think a lot of people aren't baking in the fact that we are going to be stopping quantitative tightening on December 1st. And if you get that, and then let's just say that in a few weeks we get the CPI, and I think a lot of people have buckled down, especially in the month of October, because, the government was shut down and people were kind of expecting, hey, I don't know when I'm going to get my next paycheck. I don't know if my food stamp's going to keep going. I feel like, even from my perspective, I went to, the ShopRite on a Saturday at 11 o'clock, and usually it's packed, and it was like almost dead in there. And I think people are really just trying to, especially with the Fed the government shut down right now. I think that people are cutting back, and I think we're going to see that in the CPI report. I think inflation is going to come in a lot lower than people expect because of that reason. And Jerome could say, hey, that's transitory, that's because the government was shut down, blah blah blah, whatever. But that's going to lead into his decision. And with that not baked in, with December rate cut 10th not baked in, and the quantitative easing or quantitative pausing that we're about to enter is not baked in, I think there's a lot of room to run forward here. I think there's a lot of room, a lot of money that's about to come into the markets that are needed to prepare for potential quantitative easing starting in January.
Yeah. I think that's definitely a possibility. And I kind of played out one of those scenarios saying, if we go on this runner in the beginning of December. But one thing I think that I've taken out of my mindset is, because we only have like a month, almost 2 months left, right? Is that we're going to have like this, month and a half to 2 month like euphoric rally. I've kind of taken that out of my mind. But if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But I'm okay with like having just a 2 week, like a little bit of euphoria heading into next year at this point. It's really just not trying to plan too far ahead at this point, and being more of, okay, let me listen to the sentiment. There's one thing, Merlin Mondays, that I remember Jeff saying, I don't know if it was this week or last week, but he said one of his buddies that, just really uses, his gut instinct based off of, data that he gets. He goes into spaces and he just tries to hear the sentiment of how people are talking. And he kind of builds his thesis off a little bit off of that and some other things he uses. I think that's probably pretty smart, just to kind of get the local, 2 to 3 week sentiment of maybe where we are and maybe where we're heading into a little bit. So, that's where we are. Or I am.
Well, you have to remember, though, Bitcoin makes all of its moves in like 10 days, right? So we could seriously be at 200K. Let's just say we start like 10 days from today, because I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon. So let's just say 10 days from today, November 15th, we get the CPI. Bitcoin could run from the 15th to the 25th and move $70,000. I truly think it could. We could end November at like 170 and then really start pushing up to 200K mark in December. I definitely am not. That's something that I'm actually thinking is possible right now. And I don't think that's going to be a blow off top at all. I think that's just going to be catch up. I think Bitcoin has a lot of room to catch up to gold and to stocks. And I think a lot of people, especially the very, very rich and the people that are business mindset, they always look for the laggard. Where is the laggard right now? Where can I put my money and make more money than everyone else? Where's that one place? And that's crypto. Crypto has not ran since I want to say, August, maybe early September. So I feel like, the catch up trade right now is crypto, and we might see that catch up actually happen a lot faster than a lot of people think.
Yeah, I mean that you do have a point. It has been lagging a bit behind. You saw the gold rally. Everybody got to celebrate that. That's in gold. Peter Schiff probably, just going crazy over that gold party every day probably. And then you had, the top stocks, right? People rallying and having they've had euphoria this cycle. The top stocks, gold too, euphoria, and Bitcoin really, it's had some very nice moments in the beginning of the year, and then there's been like this weird summer of a taste of, okay, this is what could happen. So we could have a situation like that, right? But you just really not trying to speculate too far in, but still speculating, maybe a couple weeks out is what I'm going to try to adjust to a little bit more. And we'll see what happens to finish the year. Again, one thing I have said is I can't picture like the US having like this like just super depressing holiday season, and I can't picture the digital space being like that as well, just super depressing. I have to imagine there's going to be some sort of rally, even if it's just to get back to where we were before.
Yeah. There was 1 year out of my 5 years in crypto where we had a crap November, December, and that was 2022. FTX just went down, right before Thanksgiving. December was seriously pointless in investing in the crypto, and I don't feel like that's now, right? I don't feel like that's now at all. All right, let's move along though. Bitcoin and Ethereum ETF recorded nearly 800 million in outflows, but yesterday. So this was the outlier though. Solana funds booked 6 consecutive days of inflows. People are quietly accumulating the Solana ETF while dumping Bitcoin and Ethereum. What do you think about this? This is something that actually shocked me. Obviously, this is something brand new, but this is something that happened when Bitcoin was dumping earlier this year, February and March, and you've seen Ethereum actually get inflows, and which led into a giant push up in I think May.
Yeah, it sounds like TradFi is trying to have their own little alt season here, right? Just different level of risk, right? For them, they feel safe in Solana, but it's a smart move, to be honest, if that's what their strategy is. And I wouldn't be shocked if you now, here in the next couple of months, you have some, figurehead come out and be like the leader of the Solana ETF type of thing from the TradFi, kind of like in between TradFi and digital asset space, right? Because I feel like Tom Lee is kind of like that. Like he's in between, right? And so yeah, look, Solana could be the next big one that benefits, and it's cheap now, right? So why not load up on the ETF right now, as it's these prices of what, 150 around there, something like that. So
yeah, man. So we do know a big reason why there hasn't been any like crypto bull run too. It's been the VCs, right? So the VC monthly report in October, there were 75 crypto VC funding deals representing 21% increase month over month by about 25%. I'm sorry, representing a 25% increase month over month, but year over year has been about 25% decrease. So from October of 2025 to October of 2024, VC funding has dropped 25%. It is up on the month 21%, but it was getting really bad during the summer. What do you think about VC funding being down 25% year over year here?
yeah, I mean, VCs are typically pouring into new and speculative things, right? So that should be honestly like one of the signs that we should have probably looked at a while ago. You know, well, that's going up until October, right? Report happened in October.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's basically telling a story, and the story is that, you know, the institution investors that go into these type of seasons that we were expecting, they're not here. They've backed off. Now, you did say there's an increase, so that is good. That is a good sign.
Yeah,
You
month
know,
over month,
so
21%.
yes,
Yeah.
so that is a good sign. So I think we need to you continue to watch that, right? Because when they start to ramp up, that could be, you know, them anticipating things, right? They've been wrong since, you know, 2020. I would say 2024. You know, but that's a part of being in that industry, though. You know, you're willing to risk for the large reward. And I think in 2024, a lot of them got wrecked. In 2025, a lot of them got wrecked. And then other than the ones that went into more of the pre-TGE companies like Polymarket and Pump, but that was back in, I think, 2023 and 2020, maybe 2023, when they were raising and stuff, right? So yeah, I think VCs, if we start to see that percentage rise up, I think it's always good to pay attention to it, because VCs will always roll the dice. That's their nature. They'll roll the dice on a speculative sector because they know the reward's super high. They're the degens of, like, you know, the institutional investments, right? So
yeah, 100%. They are the institutional degens for sure, the crypto VCs. All right, so you want to get into some astrology here? So
wow,
that's how boring crypto is. We're about to get into some astrology. So this morning at 8:19 a.m. we had the beaver moon, or the super moon, as some people say. So what it is, it's when the moon gets closest to the earth as possible, and you actually see this giant, you know, almost like planet. You look in the sky and it's like, it looks insane, right? It's the biggest moon that we get about once a year. But every single time leading up to this super moon, we have a dump. Yesterday was the same. So, and then after that, usually marks a local bottom. So how much do you think, the more and more I hear, and, you know, about astrology, and shout out to Patty Poo, the Bitcoin machine, you know, it's like, you know, he's right a lot of the time. It's like, I'm not even joking. So what do you think, man? Am I being crazy here? Am I losing my brain here, thinking that, you know, potentially you know, the way the earth works, it messes with people's emotions, and then the emotions get you to dump or buy? Do you think you believe in any of that?
yeah, I actually created a custom indicator on TradingView called Supermoon to add to my chart. And now, dude, it played out perfect though. You know, yeah, sure, it's been working. You know, I don't do crystals or anything like that, but I think it's funny because it's kind of like the people that are chartists, right? I'm definitely not a chartist, but the ones that are chartists, it's like they are able to just work whatever situation that's happening into a chart, right? And it's like, this is what I use for my, you know, et cetera, and see, it worked out perfectly. I'm like, no, you just basically move things around to make it work that way. No, some people definitely, you know, are on a roll, and that's like calling Talks Crypto, you know, with the M2 money supply and stuff. But for the most part, you know, this is fun, something fun to kind of talk about, right? And especially when there's not a ton of fun stuff to talk about in the space right now, right? That's the
only
biggest
reason why we're talking about.
I mean, for some reason, I just keep laughing at Beaver Moon. I don't like. I want to know why they named it Beaver Moon. But
I don't know. But all right, let's move along though. So BNB Chain announced that Zach XPT will now support BNB Chain community, helping to make the ecosystem cleaner, fairer, and more transparent. I'm guessing BNB gave Zach a nice big grant of some kind for him to start. Right now, he's only been really doing things on Ethereum. He might have messed with Solana a little bit. I don't really see him a lot on Solana. I see him mainly on EVM-based chains, whether that's Ethereum base or Arbitrum. But what do you think now about BNB kind of going to Zach XPT? And Zach XPT, for anyone who doesn't know, he made a company out of this. he started as an on-chain sleuth back in like 2016, 2017, and he when Ethereum came out, and he's just been the top guy at it. He has a full company now that does this, and people pay him to kind of track down the missing funds and stuff like that. But now BNB is actually the first chain to go, hey, come on, let's make your company bigger, and you clean up our space too.
Dude, this guy like just put in the years in the work, and whether you love him or hate him, which I don't really know why you would hate him. I mean, people say that he tries to go after target certain people and stuff like that, but he's gonna I was thinking about like what he's gonna look like probably in like 10 years from now. His company is probably gonna be a top tier security company in the space. Right? So congrats to him. And BNB is more and more getting involved in my opinion, to the Western world of the digital assets. And so BNB is going to be continually be a huge brand in the space as well. So yeah, big. This is huge for Zach XBT. I mean, he's already, gotten a lot of success already. And however he made his money before, whether it was through donations or percentage to get back or whatever he was doing, he's only going to increase that. I feel like
he's peaked. I feel like AI is going to come in and really take apart everything that he does. I think eventually.
Why wouldn't he use AI though? He can integrate it in.
But then why use him? Right. So I'm just saying, like, if I can go ChatGPT, and ChatGPT has APIs to the blockchain, and I could say, and I can just keep asking the API, the AI questions, like, where did this go after that? Where did that go after that? Who's holding this now? What exchange is this? Like, what do I need a Zach XBT for?
Well, I think it's more about reputation, and it's about also the convenience. As we were talking the other day to that project founder, there's things that like big companies don't want the headache for, right? And if that means like, okay, we trust Zach XBT, he has a good reputation, he's integrated AI into his security product, et cetera. Plus, Zach XBT is going to be, going to conferences because they want him to speak at them. He's gonna, be going on television shows, I believe, in the future, once like security's talked about more in the space and stuff like that. So that's why I think he'll still be able to succeed through like the AI part. In terms of his brand himself, I actually think that like he has so much more to go, because I don't even know what the guy looks like, right? And so like I think like getting on TV and stuff like that is probably that next evolution.
I think he don't want to, because he goes after some pretty bad guys. So I don't think he would ever show his face or dox himself.
That makes sense if he were to stay away from that. Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be interesting to see how he evolves. I don't think he goes anywhere though. I mean, obviously, like BNB's already brought him on, and so it's kind of like, I feel like for him, it's to continually just be that person that they all look to right now. And maybe, other people have their own internal AI type of systems or whatever, but I think he gets business in the future still.
I don't even think you need an AI internal system. I just think, if you want to go check on your funds, you just bring up your AI and make sure it's something that has access to all the chains. I've been using ChatGPT for some of my ETH scan stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I'll put it in there, and I'll have it look at it, and I'll be like, what does this mean? I'll take a picture of it, put it in there, and it can really break down everything for me. I mean,
I'm thinking more on like the B2B side of it, right? I think that he'll be looked at as like, for example, if it's a huge heist or whatever, a huge exploit, you want the best team on the job, and so you want the reputation. He's been able to get this much funds back, these many things back, and so I think that's when he'll get those calls. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, when you get into stuff like Tornado Cash and stuff like that, then it's like it's almost impossible anyway, right? So you really like he's okay at that. He's found stuff that has gone through Tornado Cash and has flagged it and stuff like that. So yeah, you might be right there. So moving along though, James Nguyen has finally won. In the past 2 months, he's been liquidated 45 times, and this is from Look On Chain. This isn't just somebody who's out there just like counting, right? This is an actual number, 45 times, whether going long or short. But now he's finally in the green, sitting on a unrealized profit of 66,000. Kind of sad. I feel like we're seeing the we saw the top of James win when we were both sending him $15 to see if he does an airdrop of some kind, to the days of him losing. Look at this, dude. This is actual trades in a row. Liquidated. How the hell does this guy still have money left?
I don't know, man, but he went on a crazy run for the first, like, what, 3 months, 4 months of the year, and I think he was up like 150 million or something crazy like that.
Yeah, it was nuts.
And then we saw kind of pretty much the crash of that. And so I don't know. One thing about him right now, I feel like he's getting into this, spotlight of kind of like that like ambiguous, like, villains, the like notorious type of kind of reputation style, right? Like the Ben.eth, right?
Yeah.
People were like, he was just straight up blatantly like scamming people, but like he would hit something that, or he would launch something that would run and people would make money, so then they would trust him a little bit. Like the degens really trusted him. And I feel like James Wynn's kind of moving a little bit into that. Bitlord is kind of already like that a little bit, so they're kind of, and similarly in that spotlight. But it's interesting characters that crypto Twitter picks, man. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, for sure. The Ben.eth days were insane. He would pop up a contract or an address, and no words saying anything on his contract address, and people would just send thousands and thousands of dollars of Ethereum to there, and then he would send them a token or airdrop a token, and that token would run to hundreds of millions of dollars. Like it was the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life. I remember being like, "Who the hell is dumb enough to send money here?" And then watching a podcast saying, "Hey, he already got $100 million." Like, what the hell from a contract address? Like, there were some bizarre days back in, like, I think it might have been early 2022 or even mid 2022.
Yeah, you had Ben.eth, you had Pauly, you had all those kind of main characters of those, and then the weirdest time was kind of like the ordinals time in 2023, when I guess the main characters would have been like Leonidas and Casey, obviously, but Casey's account wasn't necessarily like that active, right? So and then you switch over to Solana at the beginning of 2024, and Ansem gets huge, right? So it's just kind of like they pick these main characters. I'm like wondering, other than the Bitcoin ecosystem, are they like pre-selected? Because they're interesting ones that get picked.
For sure. All right, NFTs right now are falling off a cliff. No one's really talking about it, but the sales are down 25%. Even the wash trading is down 50%. I mean, the totals, twinners, it's really getting hit hard here. But base seems to be the one outlier. I mean, it isn't much money. It's about 100K, but it's still way more than Bitcoin. And 4,000 buyers, and Ethereum with 3,600. But BNB right now seems to be on fire. Are people just trying to? I'm sorry, base chain. Thank you. Is on fire right now. Do you think people are just trying to farm the airdrop, the base airdrop, or why else would these base NFTs be popping?
I don't know. I got to get over there and see. Maybe there's some sort of interaction with like the virtuals ecosystem as well. Maybe there's just some sort of Ponzi-nomics with NFTs over there. But yeah, I mean, that is definitely impressive for base. You're not used to seeing them in the top 3. I will say that is a little bit relieving to see that Bitcoin's still number 2 though. Because going back to like, I still believe very strongly that ordinals created the largest on-chain economy for Bitcoin, and it looks like it's sustaining somewhat, right? I mean, if you're number 2, then Ethereum, probably expect them to be number 1, right? So I think that on-chain economy stays with Bitcoin. So that's a good sign, because before, I'm sure ordinals, that Bitcoin was probably barely even on this list, maybe like in the lower parts. I know there was Counterparty, but that Meta protocol even got almost kind of abandoned, right? So all that stuff had to be bridged over by Emblem Vault to Ethereum, right? The rare Pepes and stuff. So like Bitcoin actually has an on-chain economy, which is great. But base, what's going on there? That is something that we should be paying attention to, and seeing if they're starting to develop like a community of NFT, because like this happens every once in a while. There'll be a random one that jumps up there. Solana will be in 3 different times. BNB maybe and stuff, but like Base, I haven't really seen them there.
Yeah, for sure. Ethereum being 51% of the market here, like 255 million, and then the rest of them added together still isn't even near 255 million. One thing about Bitcoin you have to remember though is skewed, because if someone buys a tap token, it's considered an NFT. If someone buys Ordi, or someone buys Sats, if someone buys any BRC20, it's considered an NFT because of the way you buy it. So I think this number is skewed. I think
I thought they cut those out.
No.
They didn't.
No, because that's why Bitcoin was number one for all those months. It was because it wasn't ordinals buying.
I mean,
you got to remember, there's only 4 or 5 ordinals collections that do volume on a daily basis.
Yeah. I will say though, for all the pain that you go through with those fungible tokens, I think they deserve to be classified in the non-fungible side.
They are not fungible, 100%. I mean,
so that it counts. But
yeah.
I get what you're saying. It's not art. It's not art.
It's not art. It's not collections. It's not any of that stuff. It's mainly from the like when you buy the NAT token, for instance, right? That's considered.
Who's buying those right now?
Dumbasses.
I mean,
like,
the NAT one, okay, you know, they had some motion, they had some momentum, but like the BRC20s and like the other tap tokens, like
there's value on them, bro. I mean, the BRC, the Ordi and Sats, they have market value every day. Every day.
But I don't think on-chain though, unless there's an arbitrage. Unless there's arbitrage, because like
that's exactly
because Ordi is getting most of its volume from the centralized exchange side. You know, so but if there's an arbitrage situation, then of course, you know, you can see that. But I can't imagine arbitrage in Bitcoin layer 1 with like central. You're like, wait, you're like, all you gotta do is get the price, I guess, and then it's in the block. You have to wait maybe an hour.
Well, yeah, let's just say, you know, the price on OKX is, you know, let's just say for Ordi it's $5, and you see it on, you know, OKX marketplace for $3.75, right? If you buy enough of it, you can make $1 on each one. Let's just say the 25 cents for the fees of Bitcoin and all that stuff, right? So let's just say you make $1 on each one, and then potentially you can make $300-$400, right? Like if you buy enough of them, and potentially if you have bigger money, you can make a few $1,000s if the arbitrage is that. But
part, I would, right? So I would think for the high volume stuff that you got to get that quick though. You know what I mean? Because like the price
when it comes to the NFT form though.
What do you mean?
Like the NFT form takes forever to buy. So sometimes that should sit in there. Let's just say it's $3.75, and then all of a sudden the Ordi's climbing up, and now it's $5.66, and now it's $5.76. You know what I mean? Like I feel like it gives you enough time.
What if it's going down? Or what if it faked like it was going up, and then now it's going down, and you're just like, you get what I'm saying? You can't make a quick decision.
Well, you can. So you're thinking of depositing, right? I'm thinking of the people who have some over here and some over here. So you always have the same amount of Ordi, but now you have more Bitcoin.
Yeah,
right?
But like,
so when people arbitrage, they don't buy here, convert it, send it over, deposit. They buy and sell at the same time.
I know, but
they're
like,
locking in that purchase, and they're locking in the sale.
I don't think the BRC20 market's like that right now. Like, I don't think the volume is moving like that. I don't think there's enough buyers to do that. You know what I mean? To set the price at that way, you might be stuck with the, because I'm looking at the volume.
Well, you'll never get stuck, because you'll be able to bridge it over to the exchange and sell it in the exchange if you're ever stuck, right?
Yeah, but at a loss, because at that point the price could be free. I'm just saying, well, the price could have journeyed. You get what I'm saying?
You've already sold it though, because you're buying and selling at the same time. You're hitting the lock button, you're signing it in, and you're selling on the Ordi side. So on the exchange side. So you're doing the process. When you're arbitraging, you're not transferring. You're not doing any type of transferring. It's seconds. It's buy sell, right?
That's all it is. Centralized exchange side.
You're selling on the centralized exchange tokens that you've already hold, and you're buying tokens on the marketplace. You always have the same amount of Ordi, but that's how you make your money.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. You're saying that like basically you have enough Ordi on the centralized exchange side to make it work, and then if you need a bridge over later to liquidate it, you can. I just I wouldn't want to deal with that though. I just feel like it's I don't know.
You can make a lot of money arbitraging, dude.
I know regular tokens. I feel like you can, because you have bots that like that are constantly like in and out of these different tokens. That's the
big thing, because there's no bots doing it. So that's how you win. Like that's the only you know what I mean. Otherwise, there's no opportunities. That's one of the few opportunities. So, but that's why there's volume, in my opinion, on the BRC20s. All right, let's get into the real quick though. I did want to look at the base NFTs. So if you go over here and you do by volume, right? This is the one is $1.8 million in 24-hour volume. DX term. What the hell is this, bro? Apparently there's 35,000 of these things. I don't know what this is. I think I have to find out though.
Yeah, base could be a sneaky ecosystem for NFTs, right? Because they have Coinbase, right?
Yeah.
And everybody respects Coinbase for the most part, right? Some people might not like them very much, but I'm just talking about as a brand, right? So they have brand power. This is interesting for sure to see what is, what this is about. How are they going to really market? It says NFT sales are live based on base punks. So there's a punk collection that just dropped as well. So I don't know. I guess there's some new stuff that's dropping over there.
It seems just this one collection. That's kind of where all the volume's coming from. DX Terminal. So that's probably what it is. Probably just a new collection that everyone's trying to get involved with. But it seems really interesting. Definitely want to check it out. And then the last thing I want to take a look at before we get into price action is the SparkSat marketplace. So right now, obviously, if you guys go to Luminex, you can't swap right now. So let's head over to Luminex really quick. If you go into the Spark ecosystem, hit Spark, obviously, put a password in. I gotta get rid of this password. I don't even know why I have it here. But anyway, so you'll come up here and you can't do anything yet. You're kind of sitting here, but you can look at the market caps of these tokens. 378, you have Soon at 778, and you have Dragon at 216. You can come over to the SparkSat marketplace and you go to BTK market, and you can trade these like you trade ORDI and SATs, kind of like how we were talking about. It sucks. But it's the only way.
Do you not get PTSD from that? Like you're sitting there, you're like,
I mean,
but it's smart right now, right? Because like if you can strategize, so it feels like, oh wow, like you can strategize right now. But just seeing those squares like gives me anxiety. I'm like,
I know. And yesterday I bought some Dragon off here, but I'm just letting you guys know if you guys wanted to sell. Let's just say you have some Spark tokens and you're like, damn, I just want to get out of these. If you guys put these up there at market value, or a little above, they'll probably sell, especially Soon and Dragon. They seem to be two tokens. So the website is sparksat.app, and you can come over here and you can and you see the volume. There's already over 25 volume. There's $1,600 volume here and 2,000 volume here. So obviously it's not huge amounts, but if you have a few $100 and you're trying to like just get out of either of these tokens, I mean, you probably make some money. And if somebody had some beta cat and one's listed at like 400K, I'd probably buy it off you. I'm not even joking. So but right now, these are just too high. I'm not buying this at 900K when on Luminex. I'll just wait for it to open and I'd be able to buy it at 300. But if you are interested in selling at market value, this could be an option for you, or buying it at market value could be an option.
Yeah, some people are taking advantage of that right now. I'll tell you that.
For sure. All right, let's get into the Bitcoin price action and crypto bubbles. Guys, kind of see where Bitcoin is headed right now.
Absolutely. And before we get into that, on the YouTube side, smash that like for us, subscribe to the channel, all those great things. Turn your notifications on so you know when we go live on X. Let's share the space. Get as many people in here as possible. Let's take a look here at some Bitcoin price action. Starting, as always, with the hour chart here. Okay, the hour chart wants to start this uptrend. We had some good buy pressure, but it looks like it's starting to break down now. You can see the stochastic RSI starting to head back down. The 80-point mark right here is really the threshold to where if we get below that, most likely it's going to try to find its way back below the 20-point mark, which is technically oversold territory, which you can hang out down there for a while, just like we did up here. We're sitting at 103,500. It's kind of, I think we're just rebounding a bit from yesterday's blood that we experienced, right? I want to get that out of here. Let me reset this. Let's take a look here at some support and resistance. I'm just going to, wow, that's way bigger. There you go. I'm just trying to see where we are right now with the kind of buy and sell orders that have been tracked here. And this is pretty local. I'd say it's about going about 7 hours back. But we are seeing some support in the areas that we're at right now, kind of dominating at the 103.5, going all the way really to the 10, right under 104, right? Below that, the resistance does kick in, but then support's kind of catching below that. So looks like we're okay for now. Obviously, this can change very quickly if we do just have like some really strong sell pressure come in. These numbers can change very quickly. As you can see, it looks like it's this candle wants to end red. That seems like the way it is, and it just started. It's 10 minutes old, so we'll kind of see how this plays out. But you did have consecutive hour candles. You're talking about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 green consecutive hour candles. So it makes sense for this one to kind of have a breather from on that upside, right? So we'll see how strong this actually breaks down here. So as of right now, definitely watching it. We could see a breakdown of the buy pressure. For you to feel pretty confident in that, you want to see this blue line cross over this orange line. Technically, that is when the momentum shifts and switches over. We'll see the stochastics down here if that happens. So something to keep your eye on to see what happens, after having some bit of an uptrend here to start the day on the hour chart. At least let's take a look at the 4 hour. The 4 hour still in sell pressure, so this is a little bit more promising setup, which makes me feel good about the hour chart too, is that it seems like it wants to close the sell pressure up for the 4 hour chart. This can obviously open back up. The blue line hasn't crossed over yet on the MACD, so we're not there from a technical standpoint yet, but the setup looks okay. We are heading towards overbought territory. So, we could have a little bit of a fake out here, just kind of take a breather from all these green candles on the hour chart, have a little bit of a pullback, and then continue on. If that's the case, then this 4 hours kind of giving us the right information, right? If that happens here, and then we'll kind of break out of this and go into some buy pressure for the 4 hour chart. I did pull up the weekly chart. I think it was ASAP Benji, maybe, or Likey Lukey that was talking about the 50-day SMA, right? And you can see that we did rise right above that mark again. We do have a wick below it, but we're technically right at that mark of the 50-day SMA. And if you look at the last time that we went below it and cleared it, we're talking about December of 2021, which for Bitcoin was kind of closing up that bull market, right? And so you were coming down below it, but you were sustaining below it. We haven't reached that here. We haven't sustained below that. I think that would be a very bad sign, obviously. If we went like 4 weeks and started to form something below this 50-day SMA. So this is actually, thank you for pointing this out, because it's something that we need to keep track of, right? Make sure that our weeks stay above this number and don't end the week below it, because that first candle that ends below it, man, that's gonna not feel very good. But we're just tiptoeing it now. But we have done that in the past. You can look here on March 31st. So right before the April kind of thrust up for Bitcoin, if you remember, and then Ethereum followed, we were tiptoeing the line here. And then before that, we tiptoed the line back in September before the rise up in that, kind of late September, early October. So maybe that's what we're getting at here. That would be nice if, we had something like a bounce back up. It's happened every single time, but if it breaks below, that could mean something else, right? That could mean we're heading into the big fat bear territory, which we don't want to see that. So let's hope for something like this and this, because these have been great experiences after that. So let's get that again.
It was like what, two or three straight weeks of bullishness after touching the line?
Yeah, so you got right here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 green candle weeks. This one right here, you had 1, 2, 3 with a break, another one and a break, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'll take any of these situations. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But so this is an interesting one. I feel like, we need to definitely. I'm gonna keep showing this one to show the journey a bit. But yeah, so that is Bitcoin for you guys. Taking a look at Ethereum, the hour chart. Well, looks pretty good. Pretty good. We're still maintaining the buy pressure here. We haven't broken down like Bitcoin yet, but if Bitcoin does break down, dramatically, then I do feel like this will follow suit. But like I said, that 4-hour chart for Bitcoin is showing there's a chance for that push up. So let's hope that we get that. And then Ethereum will probably follow that trend as well. So very similar situations with ETH, right? You're just, I feel like we're a little bit behind. So I don't want to give too much like faith into some of these, Ethereum on the hour chart showing more strength, because if Bitcoin breaks down, that strength doesn't matter, in my opinion, for Ethereum, right? But if we go to the 4-hour, the 4 hours even a little bit behind too, right? So Bitcoin's actually a little bit better setup, but again, it doesn't matter. It's like Bitcoin does what we feel like it could do on the 4 hour, then this will benefit as well. So that is Ethereum and Bitcoin. In my opinion, no further need to get into the later time frames with Ethereum, because it's really just gonna kind of tail Bitcoin right now. So that's what it's looking like at this moment. The crypto bubbles in the top 100. Things are green again, but will they stay green? I don't know. We will find out.
That's very green, though. Holy shit, I had no idea.
Yeah, it's really green. You're seeing privacy again. Zcash up 21% there. You're seeing
Look at ZK Sync, dude. 41%. What kind of news did they have? I must have missed that.
Yep, they're up 41%. You got Plasma up 31%. Aster up 21.4%. Quant up 17%. Maybe they're doing something with RWA stuff more, because they're supposed to be known for that. SPX up 17.2%. Hyperliquid up 10%. You got Aerodrome up 12.9%. And some of these memes, Pingu up 7.6%. Flucky up about 5% there. What else do we have in this right here? You got BNB up 4.7%. So these blue chips on average look like they're around 3 to 5% pull back up. You see Solana 4.4, Sui 4.3. Yeah, so that's pretty much for the blue chips. And then some of these other ones that might be newer or really specify, have a specialty that's really honed down and concentrated, they are seeing a little bit more of a jump up, right? So that's good to see, but we'll see if we can maintain it. The top 200 jelly, man, this one right here, man, this talk about a little bit of, I don't know, manipulation. They had jelly rolling on the Solana desk at Wall Street, so I guess that's why it jumped up $100 million. I don't know, but it's pulling back. People took profits, pulling back about 30% here. Giggle, the meme coin for the Giggle Academy, that's kind of going through, Binance, is up 143%. You see Linea up 20% there. I wonder if MetaMask or Consensus had an announcement. That'd be interesting to see, because if we get that airdrop, that's gonna be nice. Starknet up 8.1%. Ape coin up about 5%. Dogwif up about 9%. CBCN up 19% there. And you got Maple up 5.1%. Jasmy up 7.7%. You got Merle up 3.3%. And Telegram, the Telegram token up 31.7%. So that is Bitcoin, Ethereum, and the crypto bubbles for you guys.
Yep. Great job, man. All right, let's head over to the roll call here, where we every single day we take the first comment and we put it on a spreadsheet. Today, that first comment is Tim Baker, AOD Art himself. Shout out to you, my friend. You have your win number 21, tied with ASAP Benji. I want to say for third place, but I'm not 100% sure. We'll check on that. But yeah, congratulations to Tim Baker today. Today's your day, buddy. Followed up by WebDrill right there. Hydro Sapien is here like every single day. He said, let's go. Dog is strong. I stake dog on Fluid tokens. This is the second time I missed the TK staking. Yeah, man, 100%. ASAP Benji is here. Bitcoin is Truth is here, my guy. Abstracts is GM V-shaped recovery. It really feels like a V-shaped recovery. K99 is here. Satoshi Nakamoto, the guy who created Bitcoin, actually watches the show. I mean, I'll tell you guys enough. Spindrift is here. Shout out to Spindrift. Vader time. Chips and Dips is Bull Q1. Bull Run Q1. We'll see. We will see. Lucky Lucas says GM, the market is endless sadness. I agree, Lackey, with your Billy Cat. I appreciate you, my friend. Chief Axel, my guy, and the web drove. This is the tweet, the comment you were talking about back above the 50 week SMA. Would it be another Bitcoin first if we closed below it and wasn't the end? What kind of trap would be Max Payne? Max Payne, honestly, would be a $10,000 green candle. I think that would liquidate billions and billions of dollars. What do you think? Is that Max Payne right now? Just an insane green candle taking us back up to 116.
But I think the balance kind of shifted back to a little bit of people jumping back on longs as well. But theoretically, you would think so. You would think so because the market is talking about. Well, some big accounts are talking about how they feel Bitcoin going to 85 and stuff like that. But I'm curious what the balance is.
Yeah, you're
now.
right. It's looking like it is 53.46. You're right. Yeah, the balance is back. The longs are back in charge here. It's actually got even crazier at 54 now. So yeah, you're right. Max Payne would be a death candle, sadly.
Yeah, that would put us in it. Well, if we ended the week that way, if you look at historical trends, I mean, that's pretty much when the bear market starts. You look at May 2018 is when it broke down below that. And that's kind of when that started.
Gate, bro. 100% long.
that can't be right.
I don't know, dude. I don't know. Wife Kowski is here. Shout out to you, my friend. So last time Trump was in office, Bitcoin shat the bed. And this is a message from Kick. We rarely get any real message from Kick. So earlier when I saw it, I wasn't even thinking anything of it. But shout out to you, my friend. Thank you so much for watching over on Kick. We are live on Quick Kick and Twitch every single day. Yeah, I mean,
no,
you got to remember, Bitcoin had an insane bull run in 2017, 2018.
Yeah,
Trump was president, so.
Yeah, exactly. It went to 20,000. It went to 21,300. Like
19,600 was the top of 2017. We never got past 20,000.
I'm looking at this this chart right here. Oh, it looks like it wicked a little bit, but yeah, the candles right there. If I'm checking the top of the candle, then you're right.
It depends on what exchange, right?
Yeah, 19.5. I'm seeing. That wick did gets 20,100, but like the candle itself ended that week. See, I'm looking at the weekly too, though.
Oh, okay. So, I got you.
If I were to go to the daily, I'm pretty sure it's gonna show me something a little bit different. But regardless, I mean, that did not happen. What you posted, it didn't. Like it hit an all-time high. Everybody was euphoric. People were looking for the next tokens. There was the alt season because of Bitcoin. Like they're like. Yeah. I got into Litecoin actually a little bit during that time.
Superfan is here. Shout out to Superfan, dude. He's built some awesome glasses, dude. Like they have Us AI and stuff. Shout out to him, man. He could be an internet capital market. He could actually, what he could do is like he could be like, hey, any video you guys take with these glasses will automatically be sold to Kled, and then we'll send you coins for your things. You can just walk around your neighborhood and just give AI your video. Cash Cats is here with the coffee and the donuts and the dog go to Zap. Shout out to you, my friend. I mean the moon. Or Zap. I don't. DJ Glitter is here. Shout out to DJ Glitter, my friend. Appreciate you, my friend. Myself says VCs have pressure to perform well. That's why they extract when there isn't liquidity. They're like vultures picking up the scraps. Yeah, you're right. They have shareholders and stuff like that. They have to constantly be showing gains. If they show any losses, they're in trouble. They can likely get fired or get the money that was put with them. And Courtney Johnson says, peace, guys. I'm buying DMT Nat. DMT Nat is the only token where people cheer when the whales wake up. The whales, they don't even realize that they have this shit. And then they end up just selling it and dumping it, period. WebDrip says, Gate.io is like a public toilet in a Thailand prison.
That does not sound good.
I wasn't expecting that. Absolutely amazing comment from the guy. I appreciate you, my friend. I like the legend himself. But that is our show today, guys. We really appreciate you guys. Very, very slow turnout, but that's been normal lately for the entire crypto ecosystem. I heard Ivan on Tech. He was bitching about this morning. He said every bull run he got, like the first bull run, he said he got up like 40,000 people. This last bull run in 2021, he got up like 300,000 people, and now he said this one he lost 30,000 viewers. I was like, damn, that's crypto content right now. People are just not consuming crypto content. But the people that are here, the people that do watch, man, you guys are going to be the one to win. So keep hanging with us every single day. We appreciate every single one of you guys. Even if you are buying DMT net, we still appreciate you watching. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I think also the creators too, like that get through this part, right? I think obviously it's gonna get a lot better, and it might be different. It might be a different audience in the future, but I think if you stick with it, you'll benefit from that. But yeah, like Susie said, we appreciate you guys supporting us by watching us. Also, our partners support us to allow us to do this during these slow times, right? And so if you could check them out, that would help us out, and we would greatly appreciate it. Emblem Vault is the interoperability layer for the Bitcoin ecosystem. If you're looking to jump your Bitcoin ordinals or Bitcoin NFTs like Rare Pepe's counterparty NFTs over to Ethereum, you got to use Emblem Vault. They've been doing this the longest, and they have their system down packed, right? And you can actually take a loan out against your Taproot Wizards on Ethereum if you go through the Gandhi application, which is the largest borrowing and lending NFT application on ETH. The Emblem team is going to open this up to other layers as well, EVM layers, and they're going to open it up to Solana as well. And speaking of Solana, they have the best AI product in the Solana ecosystem with agenthustle.ai. Agent Hustle can find you potential plays in the Solana ecosystem. He'll bring back reasons why he brought these options to you and why he thinks they'll succeed. And then you can make your own decision based off of that, right? He also has a conditional trading engine built in him. And so you can actually set buy and sell limit orders for meme coins on Solana. But not just Solana. They have partnered with Hedera as well. So Hedera is, you can actually use Hustle for Hedera tokens, which is amazing. We need to dig a little bit deeper into that and find out what's happening over there. But they're also open this up to the EVM side. So expect more environments as well to be accessible through Hustle. I think they have a big opportunity to kind of be like a one-stop shop for wallets, right? Because you can just, send your stuff over there and have Hustle trade for all of these environments for you. There's another product within the ecosystem called migrate.fun. If you launched a token on a launchpad in the Solana ecosystem like Pump Fun or Bonk.fun, and you want to migrate to the other launchpad, they can help you get that liquidity out. And, of course, your community has to be on board with that, but they can walk you through that process. They already finished their first cohort. They had about 13 partners that were in that, and it went smoothly. And now they're in their second one, and they have a big brand called Pay AI. We saw that get to like 61 million in market cap a couple weeks ago for the X402 meta. But if you're interested in doing this, by the way, you can actually migrate to your own LPs as well, so you can earn as much for the trading fees through that way. But they can guide you through all that. You just got to reach out to them at migrate.fun or emblem.vision and see when the next open spot is available and if you qualify for that. But head over to emblem.vision to learn about all the products I just broke down for you. And then lastly is merlinchain.io. If you head over there, Merlin Chain is uniting Bitcoin strength through the power of AI. They have the Wizard version 2.0 that is in their ecosystem, and you can use it to trade tokens outside the ecosystem, like on Solana or BNB as well. All you got to do is have some Merlin Bitcoin in your wallet. But the Wizard can actually guide you through Merlin Chain's ecosystem and do DeFi functionalities on your behalf there as well. DeFi swaps or staking. And speaking of staking, they have a proof of stake security model that powers their chain, and you can participate in 3 ways. The first one is to stake Bitcoin to earn more Bitcoin. You can earn on average anywhere between 8 and 21%. The first staking vault ended September 30th. They got 17% for staking Bitcoin for their stakers there, which is amazing. The second one is open right now. It goes until January 8th. So if you want to take advantage, you better rush over there so you can get in there and get as many days that you can earn that APR. They're going to shoot for a similar APR, minimum 8%, maximum 21%. So not financial advice, but it seems like a great opportunity in my opinion. And then there's 2 ways for the Merlin Chain token. You can do a daily flexible day-to-day. You earn 15% APR. You can claim your rewards every single day, and you can roll those up in a compound interest strategy if you'd like. And then, you can sell those or do the compound interest strategy, whatever you want to do with those tokens. But if you do want to withdraw your Merl tokens, there is a 7-day cooldown period. So just know that. And then the last option is the bonded option, which is a 6-month Merl lockup, and you get 45% APR, Same thing though. You can claim those rewards daily, roll those up, sell them, keep them in your wallet, whatever you want to do. So pretty cool stuff. You can learn all about that at merlinchain.io and follow them on their X as well. They have amazing updates that they release periodically there. Thank you guys so much for checking out our partners.
Yep. Great job, man. As always, you guys have a few more minutes and wouldn't mind checking out OnChain Revolution.io. Some of the best articles dating all the way back to 2023. If you know someone just entering the space, please send them our website. We really feel like it'll help them get started and code up to where we are today. Brand new article just dropped today. Q4 crypto sentiment outlook, cautiously constructive after a scare. So definitely want to check this out, guys. Obviously, we do have the X402 one still available and the one prior to that week as well. Check out all of our articles. Are 3 to 4 minute reads. You can really catch up on exactly what you need to know in the biggest topic of the week, and that is this week's for sure. And then if you guys need a VPN, I highly recommend Nord. I highly recommend a VPN, period. If you use Nord, if you don't use Nord, whatever, go get a VPN, though. You do not want to be going to these sites and giving them your IP address. It's stupid because then you can actually find your home address. And let's just say you launch a coin on Pump Fun and then, you know, something happens with it, they can track you down. You don't want that. Get a VPN. I like to use Italy. I've been using Italy and Switzerland and sometimes El Salvador. They seem to be the fastest ones that I'm able to use Hyperliquid and MEXC with. VPNs are not illegal. They're perfectly legal, so you can get one of those. It's all about privacy. Privacy is really, really important, especially to me. So definitely want to get a VPN if you haven't got one, and use our link here to actually get some of this. Be able to use some of these sites like Hyperliquid, MEXC, and there's so many other ones as well. And on top of that, if you guys need merch, we got hats, shirts, jackets, and so much more. Check everything out here at OnChainRevolution.io. Remember, guys, we're live Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central, 8 a.m. Pacific, and 3 p.m. UTC. Check us out all week, guys. Until tomorrow.
Peace.
OnChain Revolution roll call. Market recap. You're not bullish enough. No. You're not bullish enough. No. Look at the price go. Bitcoin control. Why you still coping? Price action rolling. Don't fall for bear trap. Swapping indexes and putting it up in the sex. I can take profit right now. OnChain is where I be now. You can never look back. They don't want you to know. How did the market react? Fear and greed gotta adapt. Now we bridging the tokens and marching the network right now. You know how crazy we are. Nookies are savages now. They know how crazy we are. Chain abstraction, main attraction. OnChain Revolution.